Hey, make your YouTube debut. Just kidding.
Hi, buddy.
Hey there, it's Mer. Welcome to today's video. Today, I am joined by my friend and castmate Cheyenne. We know each other from the show, That Surprise, I've been working on since February. It's called Teenage Dick. I'm playing Buck, if you know that show. Although, if you know that show, that's probably very obvious because I'm a wheelchair user. If you're new here, I'm a wheelchair user. And Cheyenne also has a YouTube channel. We did a video over on her channel as well. I'll link it in the description, all that fun jazz. She does YouTube things. She's a brilliant illustrator, an actor, and multidisciplinary artist. Obviously, I'm also a multidisciplinary artist, and I also have a YouTube channel. So we've had a lot of fun conversations about art versus content.
Yes.
And our thoughts on how art and content has evolved over the years.
Yes.
So today we're going to talk about that while making some art. So something fun, something new, something different. We are in Cheyenne's beautiful studio. If you want to tell the folks at home a little bit about yourself, what you do.
Absolutely.
What kind of art brings you joy?
So, hi, I'm Cheyenne. Cheyenne Barton. I like to say that I am an internet art person because I basically just make art on the internet for a living. Pretty much all the stuff I make on the internet focuses around my illustration work that I do. I started doing this full time in 2017 when I opened up a sticker shop on Etsy that then very quickly transformed into something else. But
as art does.
As
it
art
really
does.
has a mind of its own.
It really does, doesn't it? So I tend to do a lot of illustration work. I make YouTube videos about it. I stream about it.
They're a professional versus me who I don't know what I'm doing on YouTube half the time.
You're doing a great job is what you're doing. So also you're busy being in national tours and things. So it's fine. Yeah, I'm making art full time on the internet. And because I've basically monetized the majority of the things that I make, it's the thing where I'm always, anytime I have any new creative endeavor or any new project that I'm excited about, there's a little voice in the back of my head that I kindly refer to as my content ghost that kind of haunts me. And it's hey, how can we monetize this, huh? One of the reasons I've taken a break from YouTube is because I've just been a little burnt out on the feeling of where I was sort of constantly falling behind, and I felt like I was never making things fast enough. And as a result, it's really warped my relationship with my art, which I know is not a unique problem for a lot of other internet illustrator people, because the algorithm is not kind to us. It's not kind to people who like to work slow and who don't post every day. The fear of losing relevancy is ever present, but I find that having a creative pursuit that I don't monetize is very helpful for reconnecting with my sort of creative spirit, I guess, which is why I started crocheting. Having crochet as a creative thing that I can do where it still itches the making part of my brain, but I know that it's not what my whole thing is centered around, is a relief. But it's also kind of becoming a thing now where I'm really just kind of laser focusing on making crochet stuff. And so now I feel this light pressure in the back of my brain to start focusing on it more in my content and stuff. And I'm I can't fall down this rabbit hole again. And so it's just the constant balance of not losing your creativity and your desire to make things to the ravenous, constant demands of social media. Pretty much any social media platform nowadays.
Yeah. Became so apparent to me when I started working in social media as a side job to supplement my income. And I've been doing that for the past year and a half or so. And if you read my newsletter, you know this. If you don't, link in the description. You should subscribe to my newsletter, Message in a Bottle. We have lots of fun over there. I've just realized that I really need to pivot. It's not sustainable for me. And I'm just trying to find ways to sustainably make art?
This is the forever struggle. This is the forever $1 million question. It's like when I first started my Etsy shop and when I first basically started making things online full time, I was staying up until like 4 a.m. every night packing orders. And I did that for like 2 months, and then I basically spent all of January and February, so I spent like the next 2 months lying in bed because I was completely burnt out. No. And then basically I have never found a long-term sustainable rhythm. So I basically I find something that like feels pretty okay and it works for like a month or two, and then before I know it, I have like way too much on my plate again and I'm doing way too many things, and then I crash and burn, and then I'm silent for a month, and then I start picking up again and I'm like, oh, it's gonna be different this time, and I just sort of keep repeating, and it turns into this like weird vicious cycle. And I think that like if you do not find a rhythm and find a system that is sustainable in the long term in regards to your creativity as well as your just like your creative output, your career will be much, much shorter than it should be, because like you're going to hit a wall and you'll keep getting back up, but eventually there will be a wall that you hit that you will not be able to recover from.
I mean, I talk a lot about just, having a chronic illness and limited energy. I think it's only compounded when you're living with limited energy or a chronic illness or a disability. Like I have no choice.
Yeah.
But to have to think about that all the time. Like I can only focus on the things that are the most important, which is a struggle, but like also a gift sometimes, and it just kind of depends on like what is needed of me.
Yes.
Being both an artist and someone who works as a social media manager, as a director of media, like content creator. When did art become content? As an artist, I like to think that content can be art, right?
Yes.
But I also like with Quota, with the way that the algorithms are so quickly evolving.
And they're focusing on more and more, they're focusing on frequency. Instagram is very much like, hey, if you're not making reels, we're not going to show your shit to anybody. And it's exhausting because I talk to so many of my illustrator art friends and they're like, I just want to draw and not feel like I have to be also a video producer and an editor and like all these other things. They're like, I didn't start making art because I wanted to be a content creator. Speaking of my own personal journey, I used to make content about my art that I was already making. So like I'd be making stuff and I would just make videos about it. And the relationship has shifted now where I feel like I have to make art to post about on YouTube. My natural creative flow has been completely disrupted.
The thing with content, it's not like when you write a book and you have editors and revisions and you spend a couple days on a painting. It's this thing that you make in not that much amount of time. No one is vetting it. Everyone's just seeing it and consuming it at a rapid rate. And even if you took 7 months to like paint a picture, post it on Instagram, how long does someone stick around to like take in that picture? Probably like 2 seconds.
This is something that I see so many of my friends on Twitter bemoan. They're like, I will post a drawing that I spent like 7, 8, 9 hours on and it gets maybe 100 likes. I post a doodle that took me approximately 10 minutes and it gets like 10,000 likes. That alone is super discouraging. Why am I putting in effort at all? Then you start tying like your worth as a creative to your engagement on social media, which is super not how it should be. The people that really want to support your stuff and the people that are really digging the things that you are making are going to stick around. You have to resist every outside impulse that is telling you have to make things as fast as possible, because if you do that, you will be making things for about 2 months and then you'll be like, okay, this is exhausting.
Yeah, it's just not sustainable. And it's so interesting just as theater artists, I'm sure you
oh
can
my God,
relate. It's like it's so different.
Talk about a breath of fresh air too. Just like being in the rehearsal room again, I'm like, oh, this is so nice. We're taking so much time. We're taking like 8 hours a day to work on 2 scenes. Getting to go to the theater every day has been a bit of a...
Yeah, and it's not to like, throw shade at people who are making who are, you know, making art in a very different medium
No, of
on
course
social
not.
media, but it's just a different kind of art. Maybe there are some people who really thrive on like the pressure to like always make more, and it really forces them to like be like done is better than perfect, and just to put themselves out there. For me, I feel so much pressure. I never feel like it's going to be perfect enough that I just don't.
Yeah.
A lot of the time.
Yeah.
I have a list of probably 20 YouTube video ideas. Some of them, it was so interesting. I did a poll on my Instagram the other day where I was like, what do you want to see next? And a lot of people said they want to see a Fajo Torres video about traveling with a service dog.
Oh, okay.
I have clips from 3 years ago, guys, of taking
Damn.
Scout to the airport for... Where is my dog? Oh, he's up there. Okay, I didn't see his leash, so I thought I got away. I have content from literally 3 years ago of the first time I took Scout to the airport for like a training day.
Yeah.
That's how long I've been thinking and stewing on this video.
The biggest question that I am focusing on, it's like, what do I actually want to do, and what am I doing that I know other people want me to do? I talked on a podcast with Andy J. Pizza about this, but he gave me the metaphor of like basically everything that I've been doing while I've been content creating and making art online has like gotten into this like giant snowball rolling down a hill, but it's not just snow, it's also like lawn chairs and beach balls and like sleds and just a bunch of shit that doesn't need to be in there. And he was like, you're taking the time to like melt the snowball and figure out what's actually snow. And so I'm figuring out what's actually snow, which has been a journey and a process. So
Ain't that the truth?
ain't that the way? Ain't that just the way?
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
I love a tea party. I gave them the prompt tea party and they did a beautiful job. It looks incredible. Amazing work.
Thanks. We love some art for joy.
We do love art for joy. Art for
Yay.
joy. That's my favorite thing about this sketchbook too. Is I just like, this is my quote unquote ugly sketchbook. So this is the sketchbook where I just draw and I don't really think too hard about it. And so I'm able to draw things that are like...
I don't know why I'd call it your ugly sketchbook.
Well, I should say like messy. If I say ugly, I know that like people are like, it's not ugly at all. And I'm like, I'm not saying it like looks bad. I'm just saying it's like a place for me to be free and not
like,
judge myself before I post things.
That's like this notebook with my writing. It's just kind of like all over the place.
Oh,
but
yeah.
It's like where I jot all ideas down, like journal in the morning and stuff and things like that.
Absolutely.
Something I've been thinking about is like, what if I just took a break from Instagram, but just like started really throwing myself into my YouTube channel? Because like YouTube is kind of a different animal in my opinion.
YouTube is very much a different animal. I find that YouTube is more forgiving. I feel like if you take breaks, because like if you use the right tags on your videos, you'll show up in people's recommendeds. Whereas like I feel like discovering...
It lives on longer.
It lives on longer. It's not as ephemeral. It's also not as difficult. It's not nearly as difficult to like discover new people as it is on Instagram. Heaven knows I post on Instagram like once a month. Because like, again, I'm not drawing a lot. And I feel like also my engagement has fallen so much. And it's like, sure, I still fall within the like 1 to 4% engagement rate that like qualifies good engagement, but it's just disheartening when I'm really excited about something and I know that the majority of people that follow me aren't going to see it just because of the way that the algorithm works.
It's really multidisciplinary art and artists versus the algorithm these days.
Yeah. If you like to do a lot of stuff, good luck.
Good luck.
So you can do your best. That's also actually a reason why I really like Twitch as well. Because
I want to ask you about what that's been like since it's like live, right?
Yes, which means there's no editing, which is my least favorite part of the process. I do these things called co-working streams, where it's basically where like I do like Pomodoro work sessions. So like I basically mute my mic for 25 minutes and I have my iPad hooked up to my stream. So I'm just like drawing on my iPad. And then once those 25 minutes are up, we all take a break together, chat, and then we just start it over again. So it's like essentially to keep people company during the workday.
Oh, I love that. I used to go to like in-person events.
Oh.
Like that. There was a group in Cleveland. We used to like get together and like do that like in person.
Yeah. It's like body doubling. Body doubling is the idea where you basically have someone, it's like you have someone in the same space as you to help keep you company while you're doing a difficult task. Is that right?
I think so. I'm very new to this concept.
Oh yeah. So it's basically like, say like you have a paper that you really need to write, and so you invite a friend over and like, hey, I have this paper I really need to work on. Can you come over and just like sit on my couch and read? Like you don't have to also be working on something. I just need you in the space as like another presence to like keep me accountable type of thing, and it helps keep you on track. It's a very common thing for like neurodivergent folks. As someone with ADHD, it's very useful. It's also why I'm just I am constantly listening to like video essays on YouTube because I work alone pretty much all day, and so having the sound of someone else makes me feel like, I don't know, I'm working with people. Or I tune into my friends' co-working streams as well, because it's like we're all being productive together.
I didn't know those exist.
They're great. They are far and away my most viewed streams. I feel like Twitch is probably, I guess maybe a little bit alongside YouTube, but I feel like Twitch in particular is very forgiving to kind of like the multidisciplinary thing. Twitch used to be very much like just about video games, and I feel like now it's just really kind of transformed. Also, really, I'm also thinking of like your sort of kind of design inclinations. One of the really fun parts of Twitch is like designing your streams. So like designing your overlays, designing your assets, making emojis, making like stream events and stuff. And it's very fun. It's a whole nother skill set. As if we don't have enough to do and learn and keep a hold of, but it's very fun. So I've like made all my little like, I made this cute little like pixel webcam frame that looks like a little like Windows window, and it says hello at the top with a little smiley face. And I have...
It sounds like very intricate.
It's as intricate as you want to make it. Like when I first started streaming, it was pretty bare bones, but now I have it where like if someone redeems objection with channel points, and then an objection from Ace Attorney will pop up on the screen, and it goes, objection! And then it fades away. So, and that's on auto, so I don't have to worry about doing that. Whoa. But... that's a program that I only learned recently. So it's a big rabbit hole you can fall down.
It's a little over my head.
You don't have to start doing all that. You can just start with putting your beautiful...
over my head because I'm short, but...
That's pretty good.
Should I get into stand-up comedy?
I think so. I think that's your next route.
Or can't stand-up comedy. I'll be here all night. And on that note, do art because it brings you joy.
Follow your curiosity. Wherever your heart wants to lead you, go in that direction. If it's not
landing, it's not the wrong art. It's not the wrong content. It's the wrong audience.
Yep, that's if you make the art and the content that you want to see in the world, that means that you will stay true to like your path and your values. You won't get distracted by like trends and fads and like what everyone else wants to see, because then if you make the type of stuff you want to see in the world, by nature you will attract other people that are like also into that stuff, and so you never have to like desperately try and attract folks that couldn't care less. So
absolutely.
Yeah. Wow.
And on that note, thanks for tuning in. That's gonna wrap up today's video. I will put all of Cheyenne's links in the description. We did a collab over on her channel. You should check it out.
Thank you so much.
We made art.
We made a little bit of
over
art
there and talked about, what did we talk about?
We talked a lot about disability and performing.
Right.
We talked a lot about like our experience, your experience at like Teenage Dick and stuff, and
yes.
Or I guess our experience as a teenage dick. Yeah, we talked a lot about acting, which was really fun.
Yes, lots of acting talk over there. So be sure to check it out. Feel free to subscribe to my newsletter. I've been getting really into that lately. I share lots of fun stuff over there that I don't share anywhere else.
Yes.
Super top
exclusive.
Exclusive.
Read all about it.
I'm going to refrain from calling it content because it's my writing. I just put a lot of rough drafts in there. Done is better than perfect.
Done is better than perfect. God.
Bless.
Cool.
Good night.
Bye. Yay! We did it! Not us talking for 45 minutes.
How long were we filming?
47 minutes.